Good morning, everyone. The time is now 9 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First off, I want to thank everyone that is here on today, my distinguished colleagues here on the board. Thank you to those who are here in person. I know it takes time away from your families and daily obligations, but I appreciate your commitment, dedication to Southern University, and showing up. For those members that are not here in person and are streaming live, thank you as well for your continued dedication and work towards Southern University. I want to also thank Mr. President for being here. Thank you, sir, for doing a deep dive into this RFP in a short span. And we look forward to engaging with you and ultimately a recommendation from you and your team. I want to thank Mr. McClinton. I don't know where you are, Mr. McClinton, but thank you to you and your team. I know it's been a long, tedious process, but you and your team, Mac, have done a fabulous job. I want to make sure you know that in preparing us, working through this RFP, engaging with these vendors, and of course, vetting them on a high level. I want to thank anyone who has participated on any of those teams on the various campuses. Thank you again for all your work and dedication. Our agenda today is pretty simple and self-explanatory. We will have food service presentations from 9 to 10 by the Perkins Group, 10:15 to 11:15, Sodexo Magic, 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Aramark will be with us. We do have a preset list of questions that we plan on asking everyone that has been provided by Mr. McClinton and his team that have been facilitating this process since we started. So we do have a preset list of questions. Board members, you will have the opportunity to engage and, of course, ask any questions if you so choose at that time. Do we have any questions? Any board members? We don't necessarily. We just have selected certain questions that we want to ask every vendor. Okay. But that will be, you can pivot away from that, board member, if you want to, Sheriff, and ask any questions if you so choose. All right. At that time. So we'll have up to a 30-minute presentation. The flow of this, we'll have up to a 30-minute presentation by each vendor, and then we'll have a 30-minute Q&A, as long as that takes. But we'll try and limit it to that one particular hour. Total time from presentation to Q&A. Again, any questions? All right, seeing none. Up first, we have the Perkins Group. Can you come forward, please? I'm sorry, before we go with Mr. Perkins, do we have any public comments? My apologies for that. Seeing none, thank you. Mr. Perkins, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here on today.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Vice Chairman Abraham and distinguished members of the Southern University Board of Supervisors, President McMeans, Chancellor Bowie, Chancellor Gant, Chancellor Washington, President McMeans, faculty, staff, and constituents of the Southern University system, My name is Nicholas Perkins, Chairman, President, and CEO of Perkins Management Services Company and Fuddruckers World's Greatest Hamburgers. On behalf of our organization, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present a high-level overview of our program partnership for the Southern University System's dining services. Our objective is straightforward, and that is to elevate the dining services program to a best-in-class standard as measured by quality, consistency, service, and stewardship. Each of you has a booklet that I will guide you through today. The proposal that we submitted had several sections in it that were marked proprietary. In order to be consistent with that, we did not do a PowerPoint presentation to protect the sensitive nature of the information provided. However, the booklet that you have, we understand is subject to public request, and I will guide you through today's presentation as we navigate the information on today. As the vice chairman stated, we have 30 minutes to present and then a 30-minute Q&A. But please feel free if you have any questions as I go along. Don't hesitate. As I said, today I will provide an overview of our proposed program to the Southern University system. Again, my name is Nicholas Perkins. I want to take the opportunity to introduce my team that has joined me today, and with me is my Vice President of Operations, Mr. Eric Brown, Ms. Flora Breeden, our Regional Manager, Dana Rogers Yates, our Vice President for Marketing, Chef Jacqueline Craig, our Corporate Chef, Ms. Sabongli Cook, my Special Assistant, along with Ms. Vicki Davis, our Chief of Staff. One of our partners sent a letter of support for us today as she was unable to be with us from Liberty Bank that is going to be provided to the board. It was sent to procurement in support of our proposal to the Southern University system. The information contained in that letter is proprietary and sensitive of nature, so it is not included in your package. My name is Nicholas Perkins, President, CEO of Perkins Management Services Company. I established this company in 2005. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary. I'm a 2003 graduate of Fayetteville State University, a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree there. 2012, a graduate of Howard University with my Master's of Business Administration and a candidate for a Doctor of Business Administration in progress from Penn State University. I acquired the Fuddruckers franchise system in 2001, making me the first African American to own and operate a nationally branded franchise system. Other nationally branded franchise partnerships that I am a licensee of include Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut, Starbucks, and others. In service, I'm a trustee of the board of the National Urban League, a trustee of Wiley College, chairman of the PNC Center for Entrepreneurship at Howard University, Big 12 Board Conference board member. I'm a life member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, as well as the Sigma Pi Phi Boule. Perkins Management Services Company was founded again in 2005. I established the company 1.5 years out of undergraduate school at Fayetteville State University and entered into the contract food service arena primarily in the United States Department of Defense, managing food services contracts for the United States Coast Guard, Department of the Army, and the Department of the Navy. So we primarily cut our teeth in defense food service and did that until 2009 when Dr. Luns Richardson, president of Morris College in Sumter, South Carolina, provided me with my first opportunity at a historically black college and university to provide contract food services management. Since that time, I have provided food services to over 20 historically black colleges and universities. My company provides over 200,000 meals per week across government as well as higher education and business and industry accounts. In addition to that, our Fuddruckers brand is an $80 million system. We serve over 800,000 guests a year in our system. Very proud of the system that we have and we develop. But when we think about managing a system of that size, depth, and magnitude, it speaks to the range and corporate capability overall of our firm as a company. So as we continue to move through the presentation, I'd like to direct your attention to pages 10 and 11, which you will see a letter from our surety company that speaks to our bondability as an organization, and a letter that you will see there that was provided to us by the Vice President of Commercial Lending at Liberty Bank in support of our proposal here for the Southern University system. Pages 12 through 23 cover the overview of the food services program that we propose for Southern University. In studying the Southern University system, the RFP, and what we felt like were clear performance signals, the numbers that were provided in the solicitation make the conclusion unavoidable. At the time the data was issued, the program, as experienced by students, was not consistently delivering the service level across the system. And addendum number 2 reflected a utilization of 36% at Southern University at Baton Rouge, 10% utilization rate at Southern University at Shreveport, and 67% utilization rate at Southern University at New Orleans. Those figures are not merely statistics. To me, they were diagnostic. When participation is low, it reflects gaps in relevance, consistency, and trust. And when participation varies widely across campuses, it signals the absence of a coherent, system-wide standard. The program does not simply meet the needs of the students. And the program that we propose for the Southern University system is designed to be best in class. Our goal and our program and our proposal is branded as One Southern. Our goal is to elevate participation and close those gaps strategically with a disciplined, system-wide excellence operating model, one standard of quality, accountability, and executed with campus-level precision. We are not approaching our engagement to Southern University as a low-cost exercise. We are approaching it as a value creation mandated that with the elevation of student experience that earns participation. That requires disciplined execution, talent, training, speed of service, relevance, and tightly managed operational control. What does One Southern mean, and what does it not mean? One Southern is not a cookie cutter approach. It is not just one standard menu. It is not a one size fit all campus approach. What it does mean is that we will have a system-wide unity in standards, access, and accountability, paired with specific customized menus and express programming for each individual campus. Southern University at New Orleans sits in one of the greatest food capitals of the world. Southern University at Shreveport reflects North Louisiana tastes and patterns, and Baton Rouge has its own rhythms and demand drivers. Our model respects those realities. The brand itself, One Southern, is universal, but each campus program will be designed to fit the individual tastes and needs of each campus. One standard of food quality, service excellence, cleanliness, and all you care to eat program. That is key that Perkins Management proposed an all you care to eat dining program and nationally branded franchises for each campus, raising the level of participation on each one. Customized and tailored to meet the individual needs of that particular campus. And continuous improvement, as we know in these types of programs, have to move with trends. And as a result of that, we manage improvement through measurable standards, continuous governance, and establish baseline performance metrics and indicators to structure the review and success of our programming overall over time. The Southern University system, by building this level of value and delivering consistency across each campus, I believe will raise the level of participation and provide students with the impact for what they are actually paying for. One brand, one standard, executed with precision is what Perkins Management Services is committed to delivering to the Southern University system. Equity across each campus. The National Association of College and University Food Services, as we are a member, we will be guided by their approach. And we want to align our program for the Southern University system with those best in class standards, particularly in the areas that directly influence student engagement. Menu relevance, speed of service, consistency, sanitation are all a part of the overall customer experience that we intend to improve. Feedback and action go hand in hand. Our program will be continually monitored, reviewed, and we will take actionable programming results and ensure that our program, if there are concerns, we're able to address those concerns in real time and do not allow those programs to continue to persist. So in Perkins, we view sustained excellence as not episodic. We view it as it requires training, reinforcements, transparent reporting, and continuous improvement in order to maintain best-in-class performance. Our goal is to become a long-term partner with the Southern University system. And this relationship we would like to see measured by the overall success of our program, which is guided by student-level participation. So when we say One Southern, what we mean is dining brands that students recognize, building trust across the system, universal standards, universal access, universal accountability, and campus precision, meaning the flexibility to tailor menus to the individual tastes of each individual campus and to ensure that those experiences are authentic, they are true, and they meet the needs of the students on each campus as we seek to rise participation levels on each one. So when we look at the program itself, this is the solution that we have proposed to raise and maintain participation in the cafeteria. And that is our A Scratch Kitchen program by Perkins. This cafeteria program is built on scratch cooking, visual presentation, and a platform marketplace style dining all you care to eat program. Under our One Southern branding, we will deliver a single standard of execution across the system while tailoring menus that rotate on each campus's preferences and culture. Every campus will operate an all you care to eat meal plan across SUBR, SUNO, and SUSLA. The objective is measurable. When the daily dining experience improves, food quality, relevance, speed, and consistency and value, so does the participation in the program follow. Our concept is made up of 12 platforms in a marketplace dining model with distinct student-facing destinations. Those platforms that are outlined are proprietary to Perkins, so the logos and concepts are in your booklet, but they span across a grill concept with made-to-order entrees, sandwiches, wraps, bowls, home-style comfort cuisine, stir-fry, global flavors, soups, plant-forward options, desserts, and beverage station. These structures allow students to have the freedom of choice, improves customer flow, and allows the program to rotate without disruption in execution. Our program, again, is designed to increase and maintain participation, and we believe that cooking from scratch, having multiple platforms, a program cadence that prevents menu fatigue through the monotony breakers that are listed in our booklet and theme events in the cafeteria will raise the level of participation for the Southern University system across the platform. In addition to that, the quality of food that we seek to provide also includes the Southern University System Agricultural Center, where we will partner with the Agricultural Center to obtain food product that we will utilize in the cafeteria program, also across local growers and producers in Southern. So as we think about One Southern, again, it is a custom tailored execution, uniform branded controls, and menus and features that are tailored to each individual campus. So now as we move to the retail program, which is referenced on pages 21 through 28, the brands that we propose in our proposal are also marked proprietary, so you can follow along in the proposal to see that what we propose for each campus. But what is important is that each campus has an increased national brand presence. And we thought that that was critically important to ensure that the sister campuses of SUBR had nationally branded retail as well. And so that it was not exclusive simply to SUBR, but we also wanted to incorporate nationally branded franchises across the entire system. And that's what we proposed. Food trucks also are a part of our program proposal. In our presentations, not only here at SUBR, the concept itself was highly accepted, but also on the sister campuses, did they also request food truck operations, which we also included as a part of each campus's program plan. So as you see, we have a very comprehensive retail program platform that includes national brands that are popular, that move with trends, and are highly acceptable across campuses nationwide. I turn your attention now to page 30, our health and wellness program. Our health and wellness program is branded as a 52 Fit program. As I said, this is on page 30. And this program will be implemented also system-wide and will be guided by our system registered dietitian. I will go into greater detail about the Southern University Systems Dining Program Administration later in our presentation. But our program is designed to promote healthy eating in the cafeteria that supports our menu cycle program that was supported as a part of our, provided as a part of our overall proposal. But our health and wellness program contains 52 weeks of programming. It is a structured wellness program that features on a weekly basis health forward and health conscious options. It is integrated into our core menu platforms. There is clear guidance to our program as implemented in the cafeteria, talking about balanced plates, high in protein, plant forward, allergen awareness, as I stated, also was dietitian supported. And we will measure the overall success of our health program by tracking selections of students, gathering feedback, and refining these operations across all campuses, as we believe that it will strengthen the value and balance the eating options for our students that are visible, consistent, and easy to adopt, and support satisfaction along the way. On page 31, we want to talk about something that is highly critical, we believe, in supporting the Southern University System's athletic programs, and that is our Perform by Perkins program. As a part of our proposal, we recognize that athletic training tables would be important to supporting athletic programs on all of the Southern University System campuses. We are able to accomplish this through our Perform by Perkins program that is built to support the overall functional performance of our athletes. Fueling training, competition, recovery, and long-term development through this program will support the needs of athletics as the athletic seasons evolve. The program is designed to provide an infrastructure where student athletes have the sustenance they need to be able to perform. We will provide a best-in-class dining training table for athletics, a chef-prepared program, foods with dedicated athlete food service windows that are not contained by the standard hours of operation in the cafeteria. So this will provide predictable access, consistency to athletes that they can rely upon during their training schedule. It will also have dietitian oversight as a part of our proposal. We have prepared a management infrastructure that requires a system registered dietitian. Like I said, I will go into that deeper in the management section, but to ensure that the meal plan programming and athletic support will have accessibility to a system registered dietitian. And we believe that that this type of program will support athletics and assist with recruiting and retention in the athletic programs across all of the Southern University System campuses. Pages 32 and 33 speak to the technology that we will have as a core operating strategy as a part of our system. We believe that technology will also aid in the increase in student participation in the programs because of accessibility. If students have access to online ordering, they have access to mobile apps, and they know what's going on in the dining services program, it will allow them to engage with dining services and therefore participate greater in the program. So we propose, as you can see in greater detail on page 32 and 33, a proprietary mobile application that we developed that is powered also by Grubhub that will support retail dining across all of the system platforms. In addition to that, we will, as a part of our investment, is to invest in a uniform system POS and meal plan management program through a company called Transact. The Southern University system will allow meal plan participation across all campuses. So in other words, the meal plan travels with you. So if you are at Southern University in New Orleans and you come to Southern University at Baton Rouge for any particular reason, your meal plan travels with you. So that was one of the program highlights through the technology investment and infrastructure that we put together. So on page 34 through 39 provides an overview of the catering services provided by Perkins Management Services. Our company is adept in providing high-level catering services. It will become one of the most visible expressions of the institution's excellence across the Southern University system. Our catering service program is built on disciplined execution, elevated presentation, consistent culinary quality, and is designed to make every engagement, from executive leadership functions to donor-facing receptions, commencement, athletic hospitality, all done at a very high level. Our program is structured at 3 service levels: our standard day-to-day routine campus catering, a student catering program, and a presidential VIP hospitality level, all delivered with best-in-class standards to provide consistency across the system. In addition to that, contactless catering is also available, and technology through our online mobile ordering Cater Tracks program. Athletic concessions and hospitality suite catering is also a part of our catering platform that you will also see on the succeeding pages in that program as well. So pages 44 through 48, which is essential to the execution of the program that I have outlined, is our system administrative and oversight model. Perkins will establish a system administrative leadership team that will be headquartered here in Baton Rouge to ensure the delivery of best-in-class service for the Southern University system. Our goal is to have measurable improvement and consistent execution across each campus. The system infrastructure is designed to operate above the dining units to set the standard for auditing performance, correcting issues quickly, and sustaining excellence every day, not episodically. Campus dining directors and unit leaders will execute locally, while this system team provides oversight, governance, and accountability and performance management directly visible to our executive leadership. The system leadership roles that I have proposed is a regional director on site, a director of quality assurance and training, a human resources manager, a registered dietitian, a marketing director, and a finance manager. How this model will improve the daily execution across all campuses is that this system administrative leadership is designed to layer over and strengthen the unit level management infrastructure proposed for each campus. Each campus will again maintain its own dining service director and have unit level management, but it will be supported by the system administration to ensure that continuous oversights, audits, training reinforcement, performance management, and accountability to all of the Southern University system campuses will be ensured a best-in-class standard every day. Pages 49 through 53 talk about marketing engagement. Marketing engagement is critical, again, to system-wide participation. We view this as the engine that we will build to keep dining visible, relevant, and consistently engaged across all campuses. Our approach integrates digital menu boards, system standard dining websites, dedicated social media, push notifications, and app-based programming, as we discussed, theme meals, monotony breakers, signature events, and most importantly, the National Association of College and University Food Service benchmarking standards implemented in order to sustain a best-in-class program here at Southern University. And this is how we will drive participation long-term. Page 54, our financial plan, most of which is considered and marked proprietary and confidential, but what you have in your booklet is the 10-year financial commitment without the infrastructure proposed. We believe that our financial proposal to the university is measurable. It has system-wide impact. It strengthens the student experience, accelerates participation, and elevates the system dining program through targeted investments in quality, affordability, modernization, and institutional partnership across the entire system, with direct support extended to the Southern University Law Center and the Southern University Ag Center. These strategic partnerships and value commitments that I have proposed extend beyond the palette. Our goal is to provide a system-wide impact as it pertains to financial reinvestment and overall support to the Southern University system. And you can see that in depth in the financial return that we have provided to the university. So as I move to close, I would like to thank the distinguished members of the Southern University Board of Supervisors and the entire Southern University system constituency for allowing me the opportunity to present our best-in-class approach of One Southern. Again, One Southern is delivered by design. It is a unified dining program as one brand, one operating standard, and one level of intentionality, executed across every campus in the Southern University system. What is universal is standard, quality, access, accountability, and student experience. This combination, I believe, is a tailored execution that the One Southern brand, as not a theme, but a brand, will sustain the best-in-class services for the university. Today, I have demonstrated that Perkins possesses both the fiscal and operational capacity to execute this program at scale and to create a best-in-class and sustained quality program for the system. We have the experience, the operating structure, and the program plan to execute system-wide, delivering consistent quality, measurable accountability, and sustained improvement across the entire Southern University system. Before I yield, I must note for the record that Perkins is a privately held corporation, and certain financial information and operational materials included in our proposal have been marked proprietary and confidential. While those materials are available to the board as a part of the procurement record, I am not able to address proprietary items in a public forum during the question and answer period. For any questions that may implicate this information, please direct those to procurement so that they are able to provide the appropriate information to you within that we have submitted within the presentation. Thank you, and I will now yield the floor for any questions or discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins, for your thorough and detailed presentation. I'll move real quickly, board members and leadership, to a list of questions that we've pre-filtered. And again, members of the board, leadership, if you have any questions subsequent to that, feel free to ask the Perkins Group at that time. Mr. Perkins, number one, what university accounts were gained or no longer serviced by your company in the last 5 years?
So the proprietary client list that we have, Chairman Abraham, is proprietary and confidential, so we do not publicly list our existing our client list, but that information has been addressed and provided to procurement and is available for them to provide to you.
All right, thank you, sir. Moving on, please elaborate on the differences in services being offered to each of the campuses.
So our approach to the Southern University System Dining Services Program is to create a brand, One Southern. And that brand is to talk about how we will raise the level of participation across all of the Southern University system campuses. Although we are speaking of one Southern as as not one theme, we're speaking of Southern as one brand in terms of the level of consistency. Each individual campus we know has unique tastes and unique desires, and we want to customize and tailor those program needs to each individual campus as we have met with them all individually. But the goal is to provide one uniform standard for the system across the board to raise the level of participation in the program.
Thank you for that, Nick, because that certainly is a concern of ours with the participation being so low,
Yes, sir.
and particularly here at the Baton Rouge campus. So
Yes, sir.
certainly thank you for addressing that. Along those same lines, do you have a miss meal factor, and if any, Nick, used in your proposal?
Yes, sir. When what we placed in our proposal was the student meal plan participation that we have on our campuses right now, and it's above industry standard at 70%.
Okay, good. Moving on, here's a question relative to guarantees. Is the minimum guarantee proposed the actual minimum amount the university should expect, or is it conditional based upon the assumptions that have been proposed?
Okay, yeah, and I can answer this one. So we were one of the things that I'm proud myself on is being raised well was to listen and follow directions. So the procurement team was very, very thorough and detailed in how they wanted us to submit information, and the information that we submitted was based on that. The procurement team asked us to provide minimums. So the minimum number, they provide us with a minimum number of days. They provided us with a minimum number of students. So our pricing model, return model, and everything was based on that minimum. But as the university does better, enrollment goes up, the program goes up, as does the return. So it's almost what you see now is a baseline minimum based on the minimum numbers that were provided to us by the procurement team in order to be able to structure our financial proposal to the university. So we did not provide assumptions above the minimum that we were provided. So what you see is the actual minimum return that can be positively influenced by growth.
A good question. A follow up to that also, Mr. Perkins, is if the assumptions in your proposal are not met by the university, what effect or impact does that have on your proposal financially
Yes.
or services that are going to be provided?
So everything that we proposed in our financial proposal is based on that minimum. So we provided a fluctuating sliding scale that would demonstrate what the actual rate impact would be, but we would have to negotiate anything below that minimum level. And I believe that we may have gone slightly below, I believe, what the university initially intended in our proposal. But anything below that sliding scale, of course, will have to be negotiated. But certain things that are based on cash flow would be, of course, done as a percentage. So if for commissions, for example, on meal plans, if the meal plan percentage was, let's just say 10%, but if for any reason the number that we reflected was based on, let's just say 1,000. If it was less than that, then that would adversely affect that number in that respect. Yes, sir.
Sorry for providing some clarity on that. I know we've allowed for some minimum deviations in that, but thank you for providing some clarity.
Okay. Yes.
Just a couple more questions. If you can, without identifying specific contracts, Nick, would you say that you have any current contracts comparable to the size of the contract here at the Southern University system?
So I'll answer that in two ways. We have experience in managing a university system. University of District of Columbia is one of our accounts. And it also is a system of campuses that we provide services for. We have had and operated food service contracts that have the exact same amount of residential boarding students at Southern University Baton Rouge. And our existing portfolio of accounts are, I would say, probably 10 times the size of Suno and Shreveport. So we have the operating scope and capability of providing services such as this. Southern University is unique in that it is the only historically black college and university system, I believe, in the country. So it is somewhat of an anomaly.
All right, thank you for that. Last question, you spoke regarding, or you spoke about the food and nutrition program for athletes.
Yes.
And I think you were detailed. You sort of got ahead of the question that I wanted to ask, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
But I am interested in how something like that is facilitated.
Yes.
Is it something that you do in-house? Is it something that would you recommend be done in a separate facility? Because I'm interested, because we're talking about two different food nutrition programs,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
One we have for students, and then one we would have for athletes. So
Yes.
just elaborate on how you would, the infrastructure, what type of infrastructure you would be willing to set up for us to be able to move in that space.
So a couple of things. I do absolutely believe that in order for it to work at its maximum potential, it would need to be independent of the existing dining infrastructure. It would be magnificent to have it in a dedicated location, whereby we were able to establish a dietitian prepared menu cycle. We understand that that the needs will exceed a traditional or day-to-day value intake, and as a result of that, we want a dietitian guided and established program, which is why we made it a part of our management infrastructure. I had the absolute pleasure of attending Southern University homecoming, and I had the opportunity to tour through, I believe it was one of the alumni uh, infrastructure that was built in the end zone, with, I believe it was a PGA tour style infrastructure. That I believe could be established to facilitate infrastructure for a setup of a program like this while a more permanent solution was to be established. This was one of the things that we, if we were fortunate enough to be selected, would like to roll out beginning in the fall semester. And we wanted to do so in that manner. But we absolutely wanted it to be separate, apart, and independent of the existing cafeteria infrastructure because of timing, hours, menu, and the needs of what we felt like athletics would require.
Thank you, sir. One last question, board members. Give us an idea of how long it would take you to set up infrastructure across the system if you were to be selected as our next food service vendor.
So the sooner the better. I think we're probably on month 9. I think in this process now, 30 to 60 days, I believe, is a standard transition time frame for a system magnet of this size with the type of program plan that we have, and an agreed upon phased redevelopment program to lay out what would need to happen with time and benchmarks that we all mutually agreed upon. But I believe that is doable for us. Transition would begin effectively upon notification of award, not physically on campus, but from a recruiting standpoint, from a brand notification standpoint, construction design, so on and so forth, would have to begin almost immediately.
Thank you. Questions? Member Lawson.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Very, very impressive story.
Thank you, sir.
And it's encouraging.
Thank you.
To see you doing so well at such a young age.
Thank you, sir.
And the wise choices that you obviously have made outside of not attending Southern and becoming Omega. I think you've done pretty good.
Don't hold it against me.
So congratulations on your successes. It's
Thank
really,
you, sir.
and I hear a lot of great things from board members and the students about how inspirational your story is.
Thank you.
My question's going to be a little different.
Okay.
I'm looking beyond the campus.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to start with a question that impacts our fan base.
Okay.
You were at homecoming.
Yes.
You just said. It is a problem at homecoming, even for vendors that do business with our school system, accessing the canteens and the concession stands is costing us money, and worse than that, it's frustrating to our fan base.
Yes, sir.
How deep, and Mac, maybe you need to address this, are you willing to dive or commit to enhancing that experience is the first question. And I have one other follow-up after that, because it's a problem and we're leaving millions of dollars on the table.
That's a great point. And I did quite a bit of observation of that during my visit, and saw several things that I feel like could be transformational to the program. And I did high level in my presentation talk about things that could be done in stadiums, such as hawking, bringing the product to the actual stands themselves. I believe will have tremendous impact by establishing infrastructure that could support folks where they are, by meeting them where they are and being able to provide services through hawking, and then be able to complete the transaction by having the technology to do that. Can also support, rather than creating bottlenecks by funneling everyone to one particular area to purchase subsistence. In addition to that, I believe that there are unique opportunities to be able to diversify and create other experiences during football and games, where we may be able to create food truck parks, literally like food truck parks themselves, to be able to bring in local vendors and partners to be able to support the crowds and to be able to diversify the offerings themselves. So I think that that there is tremendous opportunity to be able to better serve and enhance the fan experience through that type of engagement and programming.
Well, I'm glad you kind of answered where I was headed next. What can you do to assist many of the businesses in this area to help them benefit our fan base? And the food truck is one element I wanted to discuss.
Yes, sir.
The other piece is pricing. You know, we have to be reasonable with pricing. And I hope that this is just a comment that we take in consideration. Our fan base does not necessarily match the fan bases of other universities.
Yes, sir.
And I hope we can probably be a little bit more reasonable by same token off a little bit more. Are you familiar with, and I'm not going to ask you if you are, but favored nations clause? And what that states
No,
is
sir.
that, for lawyers in the room, y'all correct me, that if we would select you and you go down the road and make another bid, and their bid within a specified time happens to be better than ours,
Okay.
then you will match whatever you promised us
Okay.
that you would do to what you gave them
Yes,
with
sir.
increase within a reasonable time.
I
Is that
see.
the right terminology, counselors? Okay. That's something, Mr. McClinton, I want us to strongly consider, that we put that favored nation clause in the contract when it's awarded. And lastly, making sure that we remember our folk in the north. There's a campus above I-10, and I read a beautiful letter from a student that wrote a beautiful letter. And sometimes I probably see folk like Miss Brandy Jacobson roll her eyes at me, and she doesn't know I know she rolled her eyes because she sees what the dining looks like at other campuses. I'm picking on you, Brandy. And Dr. Nance starting to roll her eyes because she sees what happens, and it's not fair, which is one reason why I pretty much insisted that we bid this so everyone would enjoy the synergy. And it's certainly not fair to see New Orleans experience the same suffering.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Bowie and Dr. Gant, very, very strong-minded, am I correct, Mr. President, about that not happening under their watch? So I want to speak on their behalf, and I know we have colleagues from the north and the south that feel the same way, but I'm going to make sure, based on my vote on whoever get the contract, that they enjoy the same benefits that this campus, or as many of that's reasonable, that this campus enjoys. And I don't want to leave out, because the one that looks at me even more challenging is that newest guy from the law center. You know, I don't know if he needs to be looking at me the way he looks at when I talk about the campus. He thinks I leave out the law center, and the guy that produces the food feels the same way with the ag center. So let's see something where all of our folk benefit. And lastly,
Yes, sir.
special times. I would like to see in the contract that we bring consideration to the students during special times. When I was on this campus, many of the students didn't have the ability to go get something to eat during finals, and money's gone, and students study all night long. I would like to see a brown bag, or however you do it, with something warm, whether it's a soup or a salad, fruit that would be delivered, or either very convenient to them, that could take them through the evening or through the morning when they're studying. So I'm looking for that on behalf of the students. Those are just some of the concerns I have, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you.
Member Lawson, very valid points and questions. Thank you for that. Member Shorty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Mr. Perkins, for engaging in this particular process. I know it's been a long and tedious one, but I appreciate you sticking with it.
Yes, sir.
Given that we are a public institution and have to count on our legislators for appropriations, and Louisiana is a leading producer of a number of different types of agricultural products. And I appreciate you saying what you said about the Ag Center products and integrating Sun Beef into your supply chain. I'm wondering if you have given any thought to integrating other Louisiana products into your supply chain. Namely, I know we are a leading producer of rice. We're a leading producer of sugarcane, and we've got shrimpers. And it's something for us to be able to say to our legislators, our appropriators, hey, look, these are public funds, and we're going to make sure that in the supply chain we've got Louisiana producers. And I would go so far as to say that there are specific tastes that folks have become accustomed to that are Louisiana producers, like a Zatarain's or Tony's seasoning. And the more we can integrate those local producers into a supply chain like this, the easier it is for us to engage those businesses and to engage other parties throughout the state and say, hey, look, we're buying shrimp from these people, we're buying rice from these folks, and we're doing things to help the economy of the state. Have you given any thought to integrating Louisiana producers into your supply chain?
Absolutely, and it's central to our procurement philosophy that we outlined in the more comprehensive proposal that I will ask for procurement to provide to you, the sections that speak to that specifically. Louisiana grown, Louisiana produced. We spoke specifically about we have a massive food budget for what it takes to fuel the system's demand, and so we want to allocate that as much as possible to the certified businesses in those categories that the RFP required, and as much as we can possibly get from the Southern University Agricultural Center, just in general, and partnering with them to include them into our scope. So not to give away all of the proprietary things that we put in our proposal, but a very high level is that we thought beyond traditional row crops or beef or so on. So we want to actually cultivate a brand that we utilize on campus that's branded as Southern, that we can facilitate as well through this strategic partnership. So, so we have a number of things that we call extending beyond the palate that takes into consideration everything that you're talking about right now. So absolutely is central to our procurement program and philosophy overall.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any more questions? Member Whitehorn.
Good morning, Mr. Perkins.
Good morning, sir.
And thank you for this well-prepared presentation. Many of the questions I had have already kind of been answered,
Yes, sir.
but I still have a couple.
Okay.
And I don't believe this question will impact any of your proprietary concerns, but in your proposal, in your presentation, you mentioned that you were on 6 HBCU campuses. Is that still current, or have you expanded or lost any of those contracts?
Yes, sir. That's still current.
That's still
That's still
current.
current. Yes, sir.
Okay. We talked about the differences in the university campuses. I'm from North Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
So I was a little concerned when I was looking at the proposal where I look at SUNO and Southern University Shreveport not having some of the same amenities that the one here on the Baton Rouge campus, right here on I-10. So why not have Chick-fil-A in Shreveport? I mean, that's a big one to not show as a part of the Shreveport campus.
So to address that specifically, the brands that we have proposed in our proposal have to be approved by the brands themselves.
Okay.
And so they have a preset set of criteria that they look at whenever they evaluate a campus for approval for any particular type of national retail brand franchise that can go on a campus. So ideally, we would love for them to mirror each other 100%. But because of the actual enrollment volumes and the application process that you have to do for each brand, unfortunately, the enrollment requirements did not meet the brand's approval. And as a result of that, we proposed the brands that did qualify.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Last question. Explain for me the system registered dietitian. Is that an employee of Southern, or is that your employee?
Yeah, that would
because each one should. You're saying each campus is going to have their own system registered dietitian?
No, sir. The system, each campus will have access to registered dietitian that will be responsible for the entire system. So what we're saying is as you see the management breakdown for each campus, then there's an overlay of management. And as a part of that management is a full-time dedicated registered dietitian for each individual campus use. And so that dietitian will drive the necessary dietary needs for each one of the campuses in the system, and then they'll have access to that individual, but it will be my employee. But this dedicated, what I call system, SUS system dining overhead, is responsible for the day-to-day administration of the full program in its entirety.
Okay. That's my last question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions? Leadership, Chancellor, Mac. Yeah, I think that was the dietitian tech question that I remember Whitehorn just posed. Okay. No more questions? Good. Mr. Perkins, thank you to you and your team. As you mentioned, I know it's been a long and tedious process. We certainly didn't think it would take this long, but I think it has been very thorough.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for your patience, you and your team. I know a couple of individuals you have back there that are here in support of you. Former Senator Don Cravens and his son Dustin. I know are good friends of yours. I couldn't help but notice. I'm going to assume that it was their proposal or their suggestion that you put an alpha man on the front of your proposal. But I do want to recognize that. And so we'll give you kudos for that.
Yes,
yes, sir. You do have it right.
Yes, sir.
You do have it right. But we appreciate your patience. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, Chancellor Washington. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the board. Also, Mr. Perkins, for that excellent presentation. And he talks about the fact that you have an alpha working with you, but you do have an omega over here sitting
Absolutely.
side by side. And having said that, I want to ask you something on the shield, as we say.
Yes, sir.
The law school apparently was not involved in some of these discussions, and it's obvious in the proposals that we were not considered for some of the amenities and the other proposals that were made. For example, the other campuses are promised unrestricted grants, either one time or annually. Law school is not mentioning that, and we'd like to be mentioned. Facility capital contributions, we're not mentioned. Scholarship donations, we're not mentioned. The other campuses are. Now, we are allotted, I think, $30,000 per year for food and in-kind catering.
Yes, sir.
But we have 800 students, 150 faculty and staff members. We patronize the restaurants in the union.
Yes.
We eat in the cafeteria. I think the mistake that we made, perhaps, is that we have not quantified that, and so you guys don't see us on the screen. But I have drafted a letter that I presented to the board and to the Cravens, and I'm going to give you a copy of it. Going forward, we would like to be considered because we are, and we also host events, at least 4 or 5 events a month, and those events are catered by our current food vendor. So we think we have some value, and we would like to be recognized going forward in the process.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for that, Chancellor Washington. If I may, and I won't be able to read the numbers aloud because of the proprietary nature, but if you take a look at page 54, I'm going to direct your attention to a couple of things. If you look at scholarship donation in the 5th row, Perkins has provided an allocation for scholarship for the Southern University Law Center. And
I don't see that. I see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's underneath there, the catering and in-kind contribution. There, do you see that?
Right.
Category?
That's 30,000 for that category, but scholarships, nothing. Facility capital, nothing. Unrestricted grants, nothing.
So as far as the response, so you understand how it was structured. We responded to the RFP and how it was outlined specifically, right? What those requests were that came directly from the university. During our presentations, food presentations, we had the opportunity to engage with several key stakeholders from the law center, and they explained to us what the law center's priorities were. In our proposal itself, and I will also ask the procurement provide you with a copy of a letter that we sent for what we call the point of clarification. That included the requests that were directly made for the law center. That included access to food options, access to food truck, catering, some other things that are in that letter that should be made available to you for review so that you can understand that when I say One Southern, we literally took the entire system into consideration, but we responded to those things that were of direct request to us. So I'd like to ask that that particular document be provided to you so that you can review the full scope of our level of support that it included the law center. But as it pertains to what we call the mandatory bid form, we did not create that form. We responded to that form in order, and but we modified our return schedule based on information that was provided to us throughout the process as a part of our best and final offer. So I'd like for you to have the opportunity to be able to review that as well.
Thank you, sir. And I'd like for you to have the opportunity to review our request.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Chancellor Washington, I will add that in no way, shape, or form within the RFP was it any intent to circumvent the value from the law center. I think there was a professional as well as faculty staff component that was looked at within this RFP. But just the basis of how the RFP went out, the major projection in that was the number of students that were participating in the program. But I think you will be captured in the professional part of that, faculty, staff, law center. We can follow it up and firm that up, Chancellor, as we move forward in the process.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Member Ann Smith.
Good morning.
I have a question in regards to our campus and the students' cafeterias. We have two,
Yes, ma'am.
the Mayberry cafeteria and of course Don's cafeteria. Are you responsible for handling and making sure that both cafeterias are replenished and replenished in due time for all of the students, and especially during breakfast and lunch? If so, how would you handle that to keep it equitable for our students so that they will not be running late for class?
Yes, ma'am. The RFP requires that the selected provider manage the entire scope of the dining services here on each campus, and it includes both cafeterias. We will ensure through on-campus leadership that all stations are fully operable, stocked according to traffic flows by understanding what our participation rates are, leveraging technology to know the flow of traffic, understanding how important that is, and the students are not waiting on food through a comprehensive approach to production and service. That stems from you, first of all, understanding your participation rates, levels, time and difference of, there are a lot of things that factor into that formula to ensure that what you describe does not happen. And it directly is related to management. And so as a part of our overall philosophy, to understand exactly how to ensure that those what we consider lapses in service and functionality don't happen. But ultimate responsibility, yes, to understanding how to do production and ensuring that adequate and ample food service is prepared and all stations are adequately stocked are standard and routine.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Quick one. It's tricky.
Okay.
And I like the fact that you don't have a limited amount of times they can come around the serving center. Tricky part is students are busy, and oftentimes they have to come in and run to class. And if I missed this, I apologize, but I'd like to get an answer again. Will you allow them to come in and get a to-go plate and be able to go to class and maybe eat there at a later date?
So as it pertains to carrying food outside of the cafeteria, typically is, yes, we will honor that. And that is primarily a rule established by the university. And the reason why we don't make it mandatory or do that unilaterally is because of some of the unintended consequences that come from it. And that is trash. Sometimes you'll see things being improperly disposed of on campus. It creates So and then it becomes a bigger problem, and that's an unintended consequence of offering to go sometimes, is that students will ingest whatever it is that they selected, and then you see trash popping up here or there. The university creates if there's a need for it and a policy for carry out, it is something that we will offer, and no, we don't have any problem with that, not at all.
Thank you. Doesn't remember Lawson. Anybody else? Nick, one last thing I would like to mention for myself. I certainly appreciate the One Southern approach. Keep in mind, part of the reason why we're here is because of Suno and Shreveport, and somewhat of a step down type of service that we've had at those particular universities, and which is a major concern of ours. So I appreciate you saying that. That is a big part of why we're here. We want to close the loop on that and really raise the level of services for our students, faculty, staff, and those folks over in Shreveport in New Orleans. So I certainly appreciate that. But again, last but not least, I want to thank you again for your time, your dedication, your professionalism, your presentations. I really appreciate you. They're very thorough. Thank you for the information you provided to this board, faculty, leadership, and staff. It is our intent at next week's board meeting to decide upon one vendor to move forward with continued negotiations. That will come, hopefully we plan on getting a recommendation for that from the president, President McMeans here, with the guidance from his leadership and of course our students. So we plan on closing the loop on this next week. I know it's been long. I appreciate you, but we're finally getting to the point where we're around the third on this process. So we'll be coming to the home stretch here relatively shortly. But again, thank you. Good luck to you. And certainly we'll be in contact with you soon.
Thank you all very much. Have a magnificent day. Thank you.
Yeah. We bring the other ones in sooner if we finish sooner? If they're ready, I better get out here.
in here. What we'll do, give you 30 minutes. I think, Marcus, you already have the outlay of
Yes,
the
sir.
presentation, 30 minutes. We'll follow that up with a 30 minutes Q&A. If it goes over a little bit, we're okay with that.
Okay.
But if we don't have any questions, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Good morning to our distinguished board members, faculty, staff, and students that are here. We are extremely honored to be before you today. As a long-term partner of Southern University, we are excited about the opportunity to continue partnering with you as you move forward. So many beautiful things going on here on campus when you drive in, whether it be the Welcome Center or the amphitheater, and we're excited to continue with you and build out the vision of Southern University for the entire system. My role is Senior Director of HBCU Engagement for Arrowmark. So I oversee our partnerships with all of our HBCUs across the country, not just Southern University. And what that allows me to do is make sure that our students are getting hospitality experience that is on par with the level of education that they're receiving at these prestigious institutions across the country. Over the years and through our partnership, we've had the opportunity to make incremental investments to the Southern University system. This RFP, as former Chairman Lawson has said a number of times, this opportunity to do the RFP has allowed us to take a look at every single campus within the system, making sure that we listen to the voices of the students, the faculty, staff, and the board as to what you're looking for as we move forward. So when we took on this RFP process, based upon the feedback that we've received, we boiled it down to the four priorities for the Southern University system. The first and most important is student success, making sure that as your valued partner, that we are doing the best things that we can to enable student success. Secondly, making sure that your partner has a strong financial commitment to the institution and to the system as a whole. Number three, making sure that our team is delivering a strong and superior customer service to all of the guests that walk through our dining halls, whether that be the students, faculty, staff, guests, administrators, making sure that everyone feels respected. We know that if we hit on those three things, that we will be able to drive retention. When a student comes to the Southern University system, they will stay based upon the hospitality experience that we're going to detail this afternoon. In addition to that, the program that you'll hear from our team today will focus on three specific things: making sure that there are campus-specific experiences. Secondly, making sure that we demonstrate how we are going to create a lasting legacy that is befitting of the only HBCU system in the country through our financial commitment. And lastly, making sure that we are partnering with the community to make sure that our program is authentic and representative of the students that we serve. And there is no more authentic person that I know in this region than Mr. Duke Chase. So I'll turn it over to Duke.
Thank you, Marcus. And good morning. Thank you all for having me here today. I am Edgar Duke Chase, the owner of Chase Hospitality Group. We operate restaurants in the New Orleans Airport, Boston Airport, as well as the Nashville Airport. But I'm also the executive chef of my family's flagship restaurant, Dookie Chase Restaurant, and owner of our newest restaurant, Chapter 4 Restaurant. And I'm here today to talk on a few words that Marcus just touched on. You heard the word hospitality. You heard the word partnership. You see, we grew up understanding that true hospitality meant service to our community. Not just about providing great food and great customer service, but more importantly, what do we do on a day-to-day that affects the community? So when you look at the brand that's being represented today, Crossroads, we understand that food brings people together. We understand that food is a uniting force. But how do we reach back and impact our community? This brand not only allows us to showcase who we are as an authentic cuisine, recipes, but it also allows us to tap into the communities that we serve, bringing in local businesses. So when you talk about the word partnership, I don't take that lightly. when we came to the table with Airmark with the university before, I said, let me dive in and see what that partnership means. I was able to go up to the corporate office and experience the Emerging Leader Diversity Conference. Now, this is just not for their team. This is for all HBCU students, executives. It's showing them the opportunities that's in the hospitality industry. You know, many of our students understand and they think of hospitality as chefs, restaurant owners. There's so much diverse opportunities in this industry. Not only that, when they dive in and say, tell me who you are, let me understand your culture, let me understand your recipes. The university that we're partnership in now, I sent the chef that was with my organization for 12 years. Now it's in this organization, ensuring that our food, our hospitality, our image, our know-how and understanding of represented community is happening at that university. That is the same thing we're looking to do for your system. So as you say, partnership, as you say, true hospitality, as you say, service not only your guests, your faculty, your staff, and your students. It's how we're going to do it right, but more importantly, how we're going to impact the community that's outside of this campus. So thank you all for allowing me to be here, and I'll send it over to Pat Foley.
Thank you, Doug. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Pat Foley, who is the district manager for our Southeast region, and he will walk you through our plans for the Baton Rouge campus.
Thanks, Marcus. Pleasure to be here. I am the district manager. I'm boots on the ground. I support the general managers at all three campuses on a regular basis. I live down the road in Hattiesburg, so an easy drive for me to be here. Lots of things to cover. I think, I need to operate this, don't I? On the Baton Rouge landmass is what I'm going to be speaking of for the next few slides. But want to take a minute, since we last presented to this system, we haven't been sitting on our hands. We've been doing a lot of things, but I wanted to point out, if you didn't know about the prestigious award granted by niche.com, which is up there as far as rating university services, including dining services. So we were awarded for the year 2025 best food in Louisiana of any college campus here at Baton Rouge. Also, #1 food for any HBCU in the nation. And I think I'm very proud of that. I know our team is proud of it. We had a little celebration in the fall, and I think our customer service scores executed by a third party support that fact. So I'd like to talk about Mayberry Food Hall first. This is a very bold proposal. We really want to change how Mayberry operates now to be the front porch of campus. Whereas people come onto campus, this is a very welcoming place to be. So removing the barriers. Right now, you have to swipe to get in, you have to pay a currency to get in. We're proposing, especially with the amphitheater where it's at, we've just got programming going on in that space now. So we want everybody to be invited to come in without having to charge. So the new way to do things we're proposing would be that you swipe at kiosks or swipe at stations, and Mayberry is filled with not only Crossroads, but national brands, and Big Chick is one of those. I'm sorry, Big Chicken. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the #1 new franchise for 2025, owned by Shaquille O'Neal. And Mr. O'Neal has agreed to come on campus, and you probably know about his passion for education. So we look forward to seeing how that partnership might evolve. Another highlight brand is Fresh Food Kitchen by Freshens. They're healthy, clean food, smoothies, hot bowls, high protein items, high fiber, great for our athletes, and many more concepts. But I'll diverge a minute and just talk about a couple other spaces. One of those spaces is the Magnolia Room. So we're proposing we make that a legitimate full-time faculty staff lounge, where faculty staff can come in, get food, and then go back to that space. So we've got funding to totally transform that space. It can also be used by SGA student groups in the evenings for meetings or programming and things. So a great place to use all those catering funds that are in our proposal. The second space, I don't know if you all know about the Cypress Room. It's hidden. It hasn't been used for many years, but it's adjacent to the Magnolia Room. I have an intimate knowledge of how important it is for athletes to have their own space, to be together, to eat, to have meetings that involve food. So we propose making that a sort of a training table, for lack of a better word, where we can feed them at those special times when they need their own place. Also, cross-functioning as a teaching kitchen, where our new health and wellness coordinator can teach students, not just athletes, but the whole campus community, how to eat affordably, how to eat healthy. So I think opening that space back up and funding it, fully funded to transform it, is going to be a great addition. So now I'd like to do a little fly through on what Mayberry is going to look like after we spend $12 million on it. Oops. So as this is approaching, the outdoor classroom is on the left. We're coming in an entrance that really doesn't exist or is used right now at this time. You'll notice when we get in a little further that, and by the way, there's multiple entrances to Mayberry we're proposing. Kiosk boarding on the left. Some of the kiosks will be at the couple years back, maybe it was 3 years ago, we had a region meeting from across the whole South region where we had our leaders at my level and above meet to do a service project with the ag school where we did some tree planting, about 30 of us or so. We learned a ton about the ag school. It was really cool doing the tour and everything else. And that evening, we had a big tent set up where we had a farm to fork meal featuring the products that you guys produce. You know, I was a little worried about the goat that we had to kill to eat, but everybody tried it. It was really awesome. But it was such a magical night, and it inspired an idea. I think it was Brett's idea actually to build a permanent structure out there, kind of at that place. I mean, we can put it wherever we want it, but it was an awesome place, a place to host events, outdoor, you know, classrooms, teaching outdoors, and really just outreach to engage the community into the great work you're doing. And we're certainly positioned, and I think we've had a good partnership with that school over the years, but we're ready to expand it and take it to the next level. So, Law Center. We are proposing, I know we have a convenience kind of situation right there now. It does okay, but we think that there needs to be a much more professional feel to that space. So, again, another great idea by Brett. We don't have to call it the Barrister's Lounge, but it's pretty cool. But imagining bar height seating with concierge service, whatever you need. You need us to store your bag lunch because you bring your lunch from home. We got a place for it. We got a food locker to keep that safe, secure, and cold for you. Hot food, tapas, specialty drinks, espressos, coffee, deep, you know, rich seating so that if you're going to be a law professional, you're feeling like you're in that environment. So, again, fully funded and looking forward to doing that project with collaboration with leadership there. So traditions are really important. Pretty Wednesday is a great tradition. We've got funding in here to beautify that plaza area to better support that excellent tradition and take it even further. Also be really nice to have a beautiful place when you walk into the new union. So I'll talk about this a minute. National brands are what students want. That's why we have national brands in Mayberry. Anybody knows Chick-fil-A is killing it, right? The only thing that competes with it is when we have wings, right? Wing day once a week. Then it's about half and half. But we'd like to bring in Moe's. That was at the top of the list for students on what they wanted. Mexican was the next cuisine they wanted. Jimmy John's is a well-known brand in this area, so proposing adding that. I'd also like to just talk and stop for a minute. About 25% of our employee population are students, Southern students. They love working at the national brands. We just don't have enough of them. So I really think adding more national brands, we're going to increase that number and have even more students working for us. I think I worked for Aramark when I was in college. That was a long time ago, but I think it's a key part of retention and engaging people in the community and learning some good skills on the way. Last but not least, where the Prime Grill is now, we'd like to bring in KOK Wings and Things. These are some outstanding young men, minority-owned business. They're excited about it, and we don't have to have wing day. We got wings every day, and I think they're really going to enjoy that. And we'd like to, since we're putting in Jimmy John's, we'd like to take that space adjacent to it and turn that into a cashierless convenience. We're in the process of getting signed up for SNAP, so kids that need SNAP can use it in this facility for certain products.
That's good.
And it'll be quick. It's newest match gen technology. You take whatever it is and you just put it under this thing. It recognizes it with like cameras, rings you up, and you're out. So concessions. I've been to a few games in the past and this year and noticed throughput, speed of service needs to be better. We did make some improvements this year with what we could with the facilities available. But we've got a guy named Ron Ranieri, who is the director of all concessions for Aramark Collegiate Hospitality. He comes from pro sport. I mean, he is a genius. He's been on campus. We've assessed the situation, and that's why we came up with a fully funded plan to put in concepts, sort of like what you see here, what we call a speed line, which is what they use in pro sports. I think hockey can help. Some things like that can help, but at the end of the day, man, the transactions have to be fast. So hope you can ask, if you want to ask more about that in the Q&A. I don't want to go over time, but we can talk through the impact that'll have.
Yep.
And lastly, premium suite service, very important. We have a fully funded mobile kitchen that we would like to park near the suites, so we're no longer hauling food from a mile away, all cooked at once, 2 hours before the game starts. So we can be able to provide fresher food, cooked right before, cooking in batches. And I think that, along with the investments fully funded again in small wares, service wares, the way we present the food is going to take that up another level for our VIP game experience. So we also have fully funded, significant contributions towards whatever the university decides to do to improve or replace aging Dunn Hall. I won't go into a whole bunch of details, but part of that we believe needs to be 24-hour service. We have an award-winning just walk out convenience concept where you swipe your card, walk in, take your products, and you just walk right out. We put one in at Tulane in their residential area last year. Oh, they're loving it. So if we did it here, it'd be the first HBCU to have one. And really, there's not a whole lot of counts that have it, but it works great. It looks awesome. It really is a fantastic concept. But I think I'll leave it at that. But again, happy to answer more questions about our vision for the Dunn replacement. And with that, I'll bring up the famous Brett Perlowski.
Yes. Infamous, perhaps. Thanks, Pat, for the intro. And there's a lot of great things going on here at Baton Rouge. So my name is Brett Perlowski. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships for Aramark. And prior to this role, I served this campus as a district manager in the same role that Pat has for about 6 years. So very familiar with the campus. So I have the pleasure today of sharing our vision for the New Orleans and Shreveport campuses. So we'll start with New Orleans. Our director, Mickey, I don't know if anybody know her, but at our presentation back in the summer, she got a round of applause by the participants of that. But she talks to me a lot about the environment and the vibe on campus back before Katrina, sort of the life of that campus there. It was just very engaging. And she's sort of spoken to me and says, like, there's a sense of that, a spark of that now with the new leadership on campus. And if you think about the nursing program that's taking off, athletics is coming back stronger there. Our resident population is the highest it's been in probably 10 years as far as students to serve on that campus. And then the dining location. University was granted $10 million back whenever the heck that was, and is in process to design. And really that energy is what we want to surround ourselves around. So we are, I think our vision is really to amplify what's going on, that energy there around primarily 3 projects. The night cafe renovation, elevating 2 convenience retail locations on campus right now, one in the UC, one over in the residential area, which is primarily, I guess I would think, better and more is to keep it simple what we're going to do there. And then finally, we have targeted investment to maintain the campus dining experience during the transition period. It's going to be about 18 months when that facility is offline. I know you've been to the campus recently, but there's not like another facility we're going to move into. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So what we've heard from students and leadership on campus over the years is national brands would bring students and the community to the campus. And that's been our approach. We're going to shift to an open campus, primarily with 3 national brands on site, anchored by Wingstop and Subway, and then to support the health and wellness and athletic feeding with the fresh food studio that Pat mentioned earlier. Same concept and sort of the same menu platform to execute that. And then, Duke mentioned the experience around Crossroads, so the uniqueness of New Orleans will live on there in that facility as well. Sort of beyond the dining experience, I think the facility will be open and inclusive and sort of welcome to everybody. We're pretty excited about the funding that exists for that and our ability to support. You'll see different pods of seating, opportunities for community tables for groups to get together, smaller tables for more intimate sit downs, and then we're envisioning perhaps a secured space in the facility for faculty dining and or student program in the evening as well. And I think the idea of having an outdoor connection that sort of brings the life to the space as well is important. So that's kind of how we see the future of the cafe and the facility there. All of this is in the future and really need to keep the campus dining experience alive during the construction period. So those students that choose to go to SUNO when the cafe is down shouldn't have less than those that are there when it's up. So we have the resources to move a project forward to take the cafe offline this summer. In order to facilitate that, we have targeted funds to set up service and a seating area in the UC just across the way. We have the ability to leverage our team at Tulane, which is 8 miles from the campus, to basically commissary the majority of our food to campus, and then a mobile kitchen specifically to provide, in a lot of the same ways we talk about concessions, sort of fresh food at the point of service as well. And then finally, we'll leverage our food truck partners in the community to provide variety and kind of keep things fresh. So to cap it off, we basically have a plan, the people, and the resources in place to keep the student experience going over the next 18 months when that project comes to life. All right. So as excited as I am about what we've discussed so far, I personally feel the transformation on the Susla campus might be the greatest thing that we've got on the agenda here today. I may be a little partial to it. I logged 60 hours at Tarrant County Junior College South Campus back in the day before I went on to graduate from A&M, and then I'm an alum of SMU like our chancellor here as well. It has kind of a special spot in my heart. So our approach on all these campuses has really been tied to the goals and aspirations of the institution. And Dr. Gant's Reimagine Susla 2035 is a very specific roadmap on what that looks like for the institution, and we want to lean into that. So we are on board for that journey with a significant, and I'll say historic investment on that campus that will reinvent the SUSA hospitality experience. At the end of the day, we want to be a part of SUSA being the premier 2-year student-centric community-focused institution in the state of Louisiana. So what you see is the new JAG Cafe. This facility will bring to life the 7 pillars of the Reimagined platform, and its core is a focus on access and engaging brands and a flexible seating environment that will become the place on that campus for students to be. So let me point out kind of real quick some things to look at. So we're adding full coffee service there with a We Proudly Brew. So we'll have cappuccinos, espressos, frappuccinos, sort of that whole coffee culture that's missing on the campus there. The current convenience retailing we will elevate there. Back to what Pat was talking about, we'll be able to take SNAP in that facility as well. When you see the service area, we've knocked the wall down to sort of bring the kitchen back out front so you can kind of see what's going on. A real focus on flexibility of the station so we can change brands out in the future. And it's a mixture of, let's call it student favorites, burgers and chicken tenders and stuff like that. The Crossroads brand, which we will leverage down there with a hint of North Louisiana as opposed to the same old that's done down here in the South. And then anchor a Subway on that campus. I'm aware that where the campus is considered a food desert. And I think the opportunity to have more services in that area besides how it helps the students will help that community as well. So I think the easiest way to talk through the rest of this is that we've got another video here. So fingers crossed that this one works as well as it did for Pat. Didn't think this one up. I'll take credit for some of the other stuff, but we're pretty excited about this for sure. I'll finish with the Metro campus. So downtown, the campus there, the allied health program has really kind of exploded and all the students go down there, and we've scouted it a couple times for kind of what would make sense down there. So we're proposing we bring a JAG market to that site to open in the fall of the year coming up to provide convenient and affordable options for the students that are in that place. So I appreciate you all taking the time to listen to me, and I'll flip it over to Chanel to take us home.
Well, good morning. There's a little bit of echo back here, but good morning to those who I've not met. My name is Chanel Brown, and I'm the Vice President of Growth. And hopefully you can see how excited we are about the opportunity and the potential to continue in partnership with the Southern University system. I know that we have shared a lot of information with you all today, but our message is simple. Our vision is really centered around the students. It is centered around their success, their experience, as well as their future. And that vision is backed by a significant financial commitment that goes across all campuses. And you've heard our team really kind of talk about that from what is the capital and what is the renovations look like. But it's not just from a capital projects perspective. It is also from additional funding and support in areas like NIL or scholarships or food insecurity or catering, just to name a few. Because really our goal was to ensure that we are aligning those funds with the areas that you've shared with us that are the most important to you. And the other aspect of the significant financial commitment is really around the money that goes back to the Southern University system as well. And so everything that you've heard us talk about today is really a reflection of our belief that your students deserve the best, and so do you. We have a renovation plan that is intentional, it's strategic, it's world class. And we are, again, really excited about honoring the legacy and the awesome legacy that the Southern University system holds. Now, many of you may not know this about me, but I am a proud product of an HBCU experience. No, I did not go to Southern, but I went to Clark Atlanta University. And I share that with you because while I had an amazing time at Clark Atlanta, I also reflect and think about the times for me where I questioned, were we getting the very best in our experiences? And it is literally those thoughts that fuel my commitment to ensuring that our HBCU partners are receiving solutions that are not just competitive, but they're exceptional. And I promised myself that if I ever had the opportunity to impact the HBCU experience, that I would. And I'm excited that I get to do that each and every day. And I'm not alone in my passion for HBCUs, as well as the passion for the Southern University system. The team here, Randall and the team that serve your campus communities each and every day, are just as passionate about it as I am, honestly. And, oh, I forgot a slide. But so one of the things I certainly want to leave you with is that passion certainly is also backed by our organization. And what you see here is a demonstration or the illustration of our presence in the Southeast. So that's the South and what we kind of call the Southeast. And that represents approximately 92 campus partners. And when you think about our presence nationwide, we are proud to partner with over 260 institutions, of which 14 are HBCUs. So when we think about our reach, our presence, our expertise, that is really why we believe that we can deliver on all of the things that we've talked about today, and why that we can do that in certainly a quick manner. Brett talked about making impact this summer and impact in the following year. So again, I know we've shared a lot of information with you today. We believe that this is a strong foundation for us. We continue to be committed to elevate, to collaborate with you, and to align with all of your goals. Our team stands ready, and we would be honored to continue in walking along this journey with you and a continued partnership. So with that, I will believe I'm turning it over to Marcus for us to answer any questions that you might have.
Thanks, Jenna. Vice Chairman.
Sorry. Thank you, Marcus, and to your team for your presentation. We do have a few questions that we wanted to ask all vendors, and then subsequent to that, we'll open up basically a roundtable discussion and field questions from any of the other board members or leadership that may have them. Marcus, I would like for you guys to elaborate a little deeper on the differences in services that are being offered to each of the campus. We do know, part of why we're even here is because of somewhat of a sort of step down service that we've had at Shreveport and New Orleans over the years. But I want you to dive a little deeper and talk about you've said some things, but really dive deep and talk about how have you, in this proposal, elevated the service that we can plan to receive at Suno and Shreveport, at least to the level of what we've had here at it, or we're going to have here at SUBR. Just dive a little deeper, because that in itself has a lot to do as to why we're here today and why we're actually in this RFP process right now. So go ahead, if you don't mind answering that.
Sure. So similar to how we've done this entire presentation, we have an entire team here at the Ready to support the entire system. So I'll start by answering your question, and then I'll have Brett come up and dive a little deeper into some of the specifics with respect to the program. If you look at how we've addressed SUNO, SUSLA, the Ag School, and the Law Center, we have done so intentionally. We have done so with the feedback from the students on those campuses. You will see that the brands that we're proposing in SUNO are not the same as what we're proposing at SUSLA, and the same for Baton Rouge as well. We are clearly taking a specific approach to the feedback that we've received from the students there in terms of how we lay out that program. Again, if we're selected as the vendor and we have additional conversations, we look to fine tune that to make sure that that we're gaining the insights from Chancellor Bowie as well, since he came in later in the process. Brett?
I mean, I guess I'd answer your question this way. So when we build a program, we figure out what the program needs and then figure out how to pay for it, I guess, is kind of how we go about it, as opposed to putting constraints on what the students deserve and need. And I think Marcus started the conversation off with, like, we welcome the opportunity to sort of throw off all the boundaries that existed before. So, and I'll give specific examples of how we've fine-tuned things to the campus. So those that are familiar with the New Orleans campus know that the resident complex is not near the dining facility. I mean, it is not a walk. I mean, you got to dodge traffic to get there, or whatever we're at the shuttle bus. So part of what we're trying to do is to bring the food to the students there. And when I mentioned the shift around one of the convenience retailing stores, there is one on that side of campus that we would provide sort of meal replacements and a sort of a hot food option that hasn't existed before, because we quite honestly didn't have the investment to push that in that direction. So there's a specific example. I mean, I think the fact that not only are we talking about investing in the facility at Suno, but we actually have a path to take the thing offline and have service that is quality for the students. I mean, I've seen the Gantt charts in the board meetings, and it's an 18-month to 2-year project. That facility is offline. And at Shreveport, I would say that the scope of the investment at that campus relative to the top line is fivefold. And just pure math, as it sits by itself, it's kind of hard to verify that to support that as a standalone business. But as a solution for the Southern system and that school feeding Baton Rouge and the New Orleans campus, it's a slam dunk for us. So I think we heard the message early and often that, like, cookie cutter's not going to get it. And we have the people on the ground that are familiar with it. And those that don't know, I mean, Randall is obviously a dedicated leader here. Donnie, I believe, has been the only director we've had at SUSLA, and is a caring guy. The last week when the ice was on the ground, he drove himself in there and fed the students by himself. And then I mentioned Mickey before. I mean, she has a commitment to that campus that, you know, is beyond just like the director. I mean, she is I mean, she's part of the community there, and we have that on our side for sure.
Okay. Thank you for that. Let me move into the participation percentage, which is, of course, become a concern of ours as well, with the participation percentage being so low. Do you think, Marcus, that you all have addressed that? And if not, what are your plans to address that going forward?
I think that we have. The open access that you've heard about throughout this proposal drives participation. Currently, if a student is walking out of the dining hall and one of their friends is walking in order for them to stay and hang out with their friend, they have to swipe again. That creates a barrier for the students. All of the spaces that we have designed and planned for are to build community and to build engagement. We believe that if we do those things and when we do those things, provide comfortable seating, provide open access to the brands that we're bringing to campus, we believe that that will drive participation. I'll also note the fact that the data that we receive from a third-party vendor of the students lets us know that we're on the right track. They are having a quality experience. They are having quality food. We just need to open it up to allow more people to do it more often. And we believe that the open access plan does that for them.
Thank you for that. Let's talk real briefly about the food and nutrition program for athletes. Can you speak of any ongoing food and nutrition program for athletes that you have, particularly at peer institutions, maybe HBCUs or even some in the SWAC, but particularly at peer institutions, and how do you set that up? And how's that done on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. So when we looked at this program, one of the things that when I look at my role, it is to make sure that HBCUs are not getting less than. The program that you've heard about today is not an HBCU program. It is a collegiate hospitality program. So it is our expectation that when we deliver on this program, that any school in the country can say, take me to Southern. What are they doing at Southern? That is our goal here. So we've mentioned the renovation, and Pat mentioned the renovation to the Cypress Room. Bringing on a registered dietitian will be both for the students and for the athletes. All the great things that you're doing here at Sussler, bringing on Coach Falk, we want to support that. We want to be a part of that. We want Southern to be a destination for athletics. So being able to provide the training table and redesigning the Cypress Room allows for that. Excuse me. The NIL funding that we've provided in the proposal also supports the athletics department. So we truly believe that we are partnering with athletics to build out the Southern University athletic brand.
Thank you for that. I have just a couple of more questions regarding the guarantees. Mm-hmm. Is the minimum guarantee proposed the actual minimum
So
amount?
So the minimum, the numbers that you see there are us taking a conservative approach based upon the current data. So we're not assuming anything in this model other than the Res Life building that has been discussed and the potential 500 beds that come online.
So that would be the only condition.
Correct.
It's based upon that. Okay. Last but not least, if the assumptions in your proposal are not met by the university, what effect or impact does that have on your proposal financially, or in particular the services that you may be providing?
Sure. So I'll start with the service first. Because of how our team cares about the students here, we don't expect that any changes to enrollment are going to change how we service our students and our guests. So there will be no impact to that. As it relates to, if there are downturns in enrollment and things of that nature, we've assumed that Southern is on, up and to the right. Southern is trending up and to the right. They're growing, not going the other way. So, if that were to change, again, we see this as a partnership. Everything that we've built here is based upon where we currently sit and hoping that we're partnering with you as we move forward and grow.
Thank you for that. I'm glad that one of your team members spoke to the fan experience at game day not being exactly what we expect it to be. And I'm gonna yield to Member Lawson to elaborate on that and ask a question.
One of the concerns I have, and of course Randall and I talk about it almost every game, this is not my priority concern, but I'll start since we were on that topic with the vice chair, is the experience that our fans encounter at football games. It's not a problem that you all created. I really believe you're doing probably the best you can do, but it's not good enough. It's on us too. So I'm looking for a plan that our fans will be able to enjoy concessions, food during a game without missing a quarter, literally. And I want to see what we can do to make that happen. Um, any discussion on that? I heard something about a food truck,
Yeah.
but that's a problem because our fans should be able to have affordable, easily accessible food during a football game.
Sure. I agree. I remember when Coach Falk was named head coach, he mentioned that it was his intention to build a program that fans wanted to stay after halftime to see. Not just staying for the human jukebox and then everybody going home.
Right.
So if that's his goal, we need to make sure that we're able to feed people when they stay for that third and fourth quarter. Aramark has 10 different divisions. One of them is a sports and entertainment division where we do stadiums and arenas across this country. So as part of this RFP process, for those of you that may have been here at our May presentation in the student union, we brought in Ron Ranieri, who Pat mentioned. Ron comes from our sports and entertainment division, and we brought him in to lend his expertise to address that very issue, Mr. Lawson, which is speed of service, making sure that we have the ability to move people through the line, getting their items of choice, scanning as they go, not bottlenecking through lines. We also talked about the food truck and our ability to cook food on demand outside of the stadium instead of having to transfer it from here over to the stadium. Additionally, we have had other conversations with local vendors to bring food trucks to the games. We understand that your challenge for space and access over there, but again, if we are selected as your next vendor, we welcome the opportunity to build out that plan and discuss what that looks like for game day. But I am with you 100% on improving that experience.
Marcus, can I add something like a proof point? So I've been spending a fair amount of time at an ACC school that shall remain nameless. But 2 years ago, they went through a similar process around bottlenecks and just like the design of the stadium sort of had outgrown the expectation of the fans. And I'm directionally sort of throwing numbers out here, but I will tell you that the same footprint that exists from a stadium, the concourses aren't any better, but the placement of investment in speed lines, the movement of where some of the facilities were, the year-over-year results from 24 to 25 were 200% throughput. I mean, it was incredible to the point I think we're actually giving a presentation in a couple of weeks at a conference. So, but Ron, the person he's talking about, best in the business. I mean, he will get it done for us, and there is investment in this plan specifically for that because we know that Randall is challenged to make that happen for y'all. So you don't want to stand in a line when the football game's going on. Hopefully now that Coach Falk is here and we're winning games. So.
And I'll add, we had a meeting with Rod last week. I did, and it's totally doable to do everything we talked about, to do what he's talking about for this fall.
And the technology that we're talking about implementing, we had the distinct pleasure of starting service at Tulane University. And if you've been to a football game at Tulane University in the past 2 years, you will see the transformation that we've made to that game day experience. So guests being able to walk through the concourse, grab their items without having to stand at a kiosk and wait for someone to check them out.
And following up on the student/faculty renovations to Magnolia, I'm excited to hear that. I think we've talked about it a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I love indoor-outdoor experience. Mm-hmm. So I hope what I saw, I think, on the Shreveport campus could extend to Lake Kernan with Mayberry, with the amphitheater to make it a walking area, but also a dining area, not only for the faculty, but also for the students and we're missing a very, very important element in all of this. Lights would not be on, rooms would not be clean, grass would not be cut without staff. I hope we're not leaving them out of the equation when it comes to these campuses, because our staff are challenged to be able to eat a meal within an hour. Finding a meal here, I see them at Ethel's, which I love to eat there, but I'm sure they like to diversify. I'd love to see something for our staff as well, where they can find an experience that they deserve. And chancellors, Mr. President, I think we're obligated to look out for them as well. And lastly, I don't know if you all are familiar with the favorite nations clause. I know it's not popular for vendors, but that's something I'm interested in having a discussion, or you all should be having a discussion about, that if you go down and do a big deal for another university, and it's a like-kind university, if you're improved within a specified period, what you've given us, then we'd like to enjoy that experience that they would be enjoying in. So, Mr. President, I hope that, and I'm not looking for an answer right now. There's a lot of negotiations to do that, but we have that in such a contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Lawson.
don't forget about staff.
Not forgotten about. Okay.
Thank you, Member Lawson. Do we have any other questions? Member Whitehorn.
Chair, is this mic on?
Yes, sir.
Sounds like it's on. I've got several questions, and I'm going to start with, I'm from North Louisiana, so Sustler is in my back door. When y'all visited Sustler, you recognize that we had the Aerospace Center at the downtown airport. I noticed that there was no discussion about what are you going to do to address that facility for us.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah, so Chancellor Gant brought that up in one of the sessions. I think it was actually the SUBR presentation we did back in May. And in the best and final that we submitted, there's a $10,000 a year in-kind, I call it a scholarship or funding, for something. It basically said, hey, we will sit down with those students and figure out a way to get them fed. So there is, in the current proposal that is in your hands, basically a solve for that. Now, is that, we don't really have a solution at this point. We just wanted to make sure there was funding to support it, and that Chancellor Gant knew that we had heard her and that we were going to address that. So,
Okay.
there's a path forward contractually for us to make that happen, I guess is what I'm saying.
Understood. While I appreciate the scope of all of these millions of dollars in investment, the current contract obligations in Sustler at Shreveport have not been fulfilled. There were some upgrades that were supposed to happen that were never done. So how do we expect you to say you got all these millions of dollars you're going to invest and make that happen?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll answer that this way. I'm not looking to get in an argument in a boardroom here today. So I personally know that we have invested in excess of $80,000 in stuff that's not in the contract, with the pod wall and some of the renovations in the space. And then I guess it was last year, there was a $25,000 investment, which was the most recent contractual requirement that was met with the renovation of the service area. I don't know if you've been there. It's opened up, and we did some changes there. And I know that Pat had actually changed the service model there. They went to all you care to eat from an approach. So I don't quite honestly know what specifics you were talking about, but under my tenure and Pat's, I know that we've gone beyond the specifics of that contract.
Okay. Not going to get in specifics today. Okay. The presentation did not mention the all-you-can-eat option, but you just said there's an all-you-can-eat option.
Currently there is, and I think we know that is a hurdle for this campus and the other campuses. And I think we answered that in a BAFO question as well. As like, some of the brands are going to change because there's no such thing as an all-you-can-eat Subway. But like the finances, the look and the feel of the spaces are going to be primarily the same. So we are absolutely open to having all you care to eat as a program. I think the challenge is if, hey, I just want an apple or I want a cup of coffee, and that's the only facility on campus, do I want to spend $9.50 to go get that? And there's kind of a trade-off. At the end of the day, we heard that at Susla primarily, and all the other campuses, like we want these places to be magnets to bring not only students, but the community, the faculty, the staff into the facility. And that's where we landed was the best approach to that. But certainly the math on the numbers are not dictated by us going all access versus a traditional meal plan or all you care to eat. So.
Yeah. So based on the upgrades that we're planning for Susla and Suno, the quality and quantity of the food has been a concern, particularly in Shreveport. So is this going to address those concerns about the quality and necessarily the quantity of the food?
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer I think there's a couple of things there. Yes, in a word. The dining experience is more than just the food you eat. It's the experience you're in. And quite honestly, some of the deferred maintenance needs on some of these campuses are significant. And we have set aside money to support that. So I think at Susla, the fact that we're pulling production from the back to the front creates an opportunity to have more personalization and sort of things cooked to order and how would you like it. And yeah, I mean, if you got a better kitchen to cook in, you're going to end up with better food. And I think the environment itself creates part of that experience. But absolutely, I mean, and to talk earlier, I mean, from survey results and sort of third-party stuff, students are generally pretty happy with what we've done there. And we serve millions of meals a year, and I would be lying to say they're all winners. But we're very purposeful in our funding to make sure that the experience for the student, but also for our staff to execute better is part of it. I mean, there's nothing more challenging to come to work and the power doesn't work, or there's challenges around that. And that's, quite honestly, is a real experience for some of our folks. So, but yeah, I mean, heard loud and clear for sure.
Yeah, and we do have athletes at the Shreveport campus. So that dietary piece for the athletes, I mean, we'd like to see that in Shreveport as well. But the rate charge for the food in Shreveport is equal to what they could purchase off campus. So are we going to address that as well?
Well, I would say that we price things from a market standpoint because the price of food off campus is the same as it is on campus. I think what we'll provide is a significant convenience beyond just the facility there in the Vance Center. We're going to put a convenience store back in the resident quad back there as well, for students will be able to use SNAP benefits and stuff like that. I mean, we market basket stuff, and at the end of the day, we have not built any significant rate increases into any of our meal plans based on what we're doing from an investment standpoint. So it'll be market competitive, and I guess we can always discuss that. But
okay, all right, thank you.
Sure, thanks for the questions.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Member Whitehorn. Questions here, Member Shorty? Coming back to you again.
For taking the time to participate in this process. We know it has been long and a bit arduous, and we appreciate you sticking with it. Just a few questions. One, how did you derive at the amount of money that you would put towards facilities capital contribution based on what I'm looking at and how much we're going to spend on Baton Rouge, Suno, and Susla? I want to know how you got to the numbers that you project to spend.
Sure. So the numbers that we arrived at, we started with the vision first. And I mentioned in the beginning, we took this approach to have a clean slate, think boldly about what we can and what we will do, making sure that we're providing a world-class experience at each one of the campuses. So we started with the vision first, and then backed into the numbers with our design team, understanding what that would look like to renovate those spaces. Also understanding the money that was allocated towards the SUNO campus. So there wasn't the need for investment there, but there were no monies allocated from a legislation standpoint for SUSLA, and we're committed to allocating the funds here to make the vision that we showed for Mayberry come to life.
So did it have anything to do with the amount of the student body or the amount of meals served? Or were you looking at what had been allocated by the legislature to make that decision?
At SUNO?
Yes.
Well, so let me back up to the initial question. So the two major projects that are part of this are Mayberry and the SUSLA campus. So we had architects, construction design people physically on site looking in crawl spaces and pre-existing conditions. So like those aren't kind of swag numbers. Those are based on people, educated construction professionals coming on site and verifying what that is. I think I started earlier where I said that we build the program and then figure out how to pay for it. And at the end of the day, the fact that the SUNO was blessed with $10 million to build a facility didn't require Aramark to come forth with significant investment for capital on that campus because of that. Now, that is part of the system sort of deal, and we once again are just trying to be responsible in how we're allocating capital. And the Shreveport campus, quite honestly, needed more capital to bring that experience to life. And Mayberry is a perfect example. I mean, it is it's a significant amount of money to make all that happen. So, I mean, in pure economics, the more students you have, the more revenue that the university has, likely the more capital is to support that. I mean, that's kind of a general rule. We have not applied that here linearly. Like there is some movement just to make sure that the whole system gets what they want. I mean, Chairman Lawson or Board Member Lawson, like when we started this, I've been up here before, so like it was loud and clear, like we need to do right by all the campuses. So maybe I should sit down.
So
Good.
I want to switch gears. I appreciate a member of the Chase family and New Orleans institution at the table with you. I think making sure that local businesses are represented and a part of this is very important. Given that we are a public institution and have to reach out to members of the legislature to seek funds to run this institution, and that we do business and some of our alumni are individuals who are in ag, I would like to know, one, if you've thought about having products that we produce at the Ag Center involved in your supply chain. I'm speaking specifically of Sun Beef and other products that we've got at the Ag Center. And two, given that the state of Louisiana produces significant amounts of rice and sugarcane and has a thriving seafood industry, have you thought about integrating those businesses and those industries into your supply chain? And thirdly, not just those industries, but those industries that provide seasonings like Zatarans and Tony's seasoning to make sure that that with the public funds that we have, we circulate those within our state. Have you thought about integrating those in your supply chain?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, we currently use Sun Beef products in our menus. And we've always had conversations about how we can partner with local businesses in Baton Rouge and in SUNO and in SUSLA to make sure that each one of those campuses is receiving an experience that is specific to that campus. And one of the benefits of having Dookie with us is that authenticity of menus and making sure that we are sourcing the appropriate products. So as it relates to rice specifically or shrimp specifically, we have not nailed that part down, but we are certainly open and willing to bringing that in.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, and I'll speak from it from a perspective that I already do. I started by saying we operated in different airports, and I specifically mentioned that because I understand the communities that we were going into. When you think about the Nashville market that we're in, the person that leads that is not myself, it's Princess Hot Chicken, a family that's been in Nashville for over 75 years. So my aspect of coming to it is not just to authenticate what we do, but to make sure that we're reaching into our community. So certainly in Baton Rouge, we want to reach into the Baton Rouge community. In New Orleans, we want more of New Orleans, not just me to reach into New Orleans. In Lafayette, all these different places, we want Shreveport. We want people that represent that community to participate in this system.
Thank you. Member Ann Smith.
I'm sorry. Thank you. In regards to the Baton Rouge campus, we have 2 sites for feeding. We have a residential site, and then, of course, we have the residential and administrative site. What are your plans? What plans do you have for, I heard the Mayberry plans, but what plans do you have for the Dunn site? Specifically, accommodating our students' breakfast and lunch because of their meals and getting to classes on time in the mornings and at noon. Of course, we want to feed them at night too, but for sure, those 2, without them being late, without them getting food that is cold, and in regards to them eating and being able to get to class on time. What are your plans?
Sure. So what I would start by saying is we have funds allocated for an immediate refresh of Dunn, understanding that there are conversations of a new Res Life building that may be erected in the coming years. So we have refresh funds set aside to improve the aesthetics within Dunn. And then we also have funding set aside for that new building to support that as well. But with respect to specific programming, I'll bring up Pat to discuss how we solve for that.
I'm glad you asked that question because I wanted to talk more about, the kind of the new Dunn. We talked about Mayberry kind of being the front porch of campus, right? Where you have lots of different people, lots of things coming together. When you get into a residential area and you have a dining hall, it's a different type experience. So we want that to be more like home away from home. So we've got lots of design experts that are chomping at the bit. Once we understand a little more about where the facility would be, is it in the existing space? Will it be the bottom floor of a new building? Whatever it's going to be to kind of get an idea of scope. But to program that for the students. First, I'd imagine we'd do lots of focus groups. We would talk to the students and really understand. Nationally, we have a lot of that data that we can kind of guess at what the outcome of those focus groups and surveys and stuff would be. But it's really about a different feel, a quieter feel, a more relaxing feel. But it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, right? Those students are down there from 6, 7 a.m. until they go to bed, hopefully before 2 a.m. But we plan to serve all meal parts for that space, but again, a different feel, soft seating. We've even talked about these students grew up eating TV on the couch. I mean, not eating TV, watching TV, eating on the couch, watching TV. We've got a big enough space. I imagine we set up, living room like setups, right, where 3 or 4 students can get together and turn on the tube and eat just like they do at home. So maybe that's not the greatest example, but the idea of making them feel comfortable. We've talked about meditation spaces, right, where they can just kind of get away but still be close to people and relax. Game areas and stuff like that. Just opportunities for them after a busy day of classes to, just relax and unwind. And of course, the food. I haven't talked about the food. but I'll pause and see if I'm close to answering your question yet.
You're close.
Okay.
But my biggest concern is to make sure that they have enough food and it will not run out so that they have to wait and be late for class. If they run in to eat and then have to leave to go to class and then class has already started, and also have the food conducive for eating. Like if it's warm food, it should be warmed or not serving cold food. But at any rate, you have given it some thought, and I would appreciate it if you would additionally think about it, because here it is all about our students.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you.
I do think you were right as it relates to volume. They're probably eating TV-sized volumes of food out there. At least in my experience, they are.
Thank you,
Any
Mr.
other questions? Round of panel, Chancellor.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Vice Chairman Abraham, for recognizing me. I'm looking at this handout that I assume you gave today to the board. Okay, so I want to make sure I understand this, because I want to make sure I understand apples to apples. What you're doing is showing us dollars from a 20-year perspective, is if I understood what I see here, over 20 years, right? Okay, and I thought, maybe I misunderstood, maybe Ms. McClendon, you can help me. I thought we were looking for a 10-year. 10 years. So, and I don't want to be presumptive. I don't want to just take your numbers and cut them in half.
No, don't do that.
That's right.
Don't touch
I understand. So is there a way that you can help us from an apples to apples perspective understand this based upon a 10-year?
Sure.
Yeah, because it was my understanding it was supposed to be 10 years, and I just...
So a couple of things, right? So in the comparison that that Mr. McClinton and his team have done, there is a 10-year comparison that they can share with the board.
Okay.
Additionally, it details the differences with us going to 20 years. And what I would say is the majority, all of the funding that we're talking about is within that 10-year term. The 20-year term allows us to amortize some of that over the remaining 10 years.
All right. So from perspective of, again, just comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges, there is a kind of this is what it looks like for a 10-year term so that we can really do the comparison. Yeah, because when I looked at that, I kept saying 20. Okay.
Do you like those numbers?
Well, they might be better. If you're talking 20 years, I have to see what your 10-year numbers are. Well, maybe it ought to be more over 20 years, but I mean, and I understand it's all based upon what we're dealing with now, but of course we have aspirations of growing.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's okay.
So what I'll say for the entire board is in this public setting, I don't want to disclose the confidential numbers that we've provided to you here. But there are comparisons that the procurement team has done laying out what that 10-year looks like for you.
Yeah, and that's fine. As long as we have that, I'm good. All right, thank you.
We'll take the 20.
Okay.
Vice Chairman.
Chancellor, Marcus, if you can, perhaps, if the Chancellor is referring to the financial model that you provided here, if you all can perhaps give us a 10-year model and provide that to Mac and his team. We can disseminate that to the Chancellor and other members of the team. Is that what you're speaking to, Mr. Chancellor?
Yeah, without trying to disclose maybe something they didn't want disclosed at least from that standpoint. But I just from my own perspective.
Correct. And the Chancellor's right, Marcus. We have been zooming more in to the 10-year approach versus the 20-year. But certainly you provided that in your proposal, both 20 and 10-year options.
Right.
So we do have that, Chancellor, for your review when you need to do so. Mr. President.
Thank you, and thank you for working with us and being patient during this process. As the interim president of Southern University System. I still do serve as chancellor of the Ag Center, so I appreciate all the support that you guys are giving us. And if he's not going to speak up for himself, but he's not shy. We want to make sure that the Ag Center and the Law Center are included as it relates to some of the financial benefits here in the Baton Rouge landmass. So I wanted to make that perfectly clear. And you guys been in our suite, and we've enjoyed you guys over the years, and so I thank you. Chancellor, I don't think she minds. Chancellor Gann and I are texting back and forth, so I need to make sure certain that I echo some of the sentiments that have been conveyed, and that there were some major concerns with the level of service in Shreveport. And I do know that things have improved. Let me get that part out, and just talking to some of the constituent groups there. But I want to make sure, if you are selected as the entity that we move forward with, we want to make sure that we get input from not only Susla, but from New Orleans, of those areas in which we think can use some considerable improvement, because this is my 5th university, 3 HBCUs and 2 larger institutions. And it's very critical, not only that, as Ms. Smith said, that we make sure that the students have quality service, hot food, and food being on time and accessible, but understand that in all of those universities, including SUBR, that we have that space conducive for students to interact, to socialize. It's becoming more and more important. I was at Illinois and Virginia Tech. They designed that space for that, right? And so it's very, very, very critical that we take into consideration those components. But I just want to say I thank you, and I hope that if you are selected, we will have that dialogue about those other 2 campuses. Thank you.
Thank you. And just in response to your comment, I am eagerly looking forward to the board's decision and your recommendation, along with the procurement team's recommendation of who the next vendor will be to support the Southern system. If that is us, we welcome the opportunity to sit across the table from you and fine-tune this thing, right? The unfortunate part about an RFP is it prohibits some of the direct interaction with the constituents that are going to be impacted by the service that we're going to deliver. Once the decision has been made by yourself and supported by the board, having those conversations will allow for that dialogue. There are financials in front of you. Those are buckets of money based upon what we're proposing. As we have those conversations, maybe we need to allocate them in different places. What I can promise you is that the answer to any of your concerns will not be no, but it will be a conversation of how we can get there and what the impact is. So thank you for your time. We look forward to your recommendation, and hopefully it's for Aramark. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Marcus. Mr. President, I will correct you on that. Mr. Washington is not shy and is representing the Law Center 100% with this proposal that was provided on today. So let's make sure we get that for the record. Let's make sure we get that correct.
And I like what you said. I think you said the answer will not be no. And as a lawyer, I'm going to stop right there. So that's pretty good. So I just really want to follow up what you guys have already received in writing. We want the law school to be involved. We appreciate the investments that you've made here in the past and the investments that you plan to make if your contract is extended. We want you to invest in the law school as well. Our students need scholarships. That is not included in the proposal. We would love to get these unrestricted grants. All the other campuses are getting unrestricted grants, and the law school is not. The scholarships, I think your proposal included like a lump sum contribution, and then the system decides who gets what. We appreciate that, but we would kind of prefer if it was spelled out how much each campus would get in advance. Food and in-kind catering, I don't know if that was included in the proposal, but we would like to be considered for that. And then we do appreciate the facilities capital contribution that you intend to make at Barrister's Lounge. It looks great, and we definitely appreciate being considered for that. But we need for you guys to include us in those other benefits that you offer in the other campuses. So thank you so much.
Sure. And I'll just respond to your comment by saying that the Law Center has produced a number of lawyers that are on this board, so I'm sure we can get it right.
I would strongly suggest you stop right there, Marcus. For your benefit.
Plus the SBA president is on the board too. That's right. Just thought I'd bring that to your attention.
All right, any more questions? Just seeing Marcus again. Thank you to you and your team. Thank you to Aramark for what you have continued to do, here for us across the system. I do want to send a special shout out to Rando and his team. I often drop in here in Baton Rouge in the cafeteria and have lunch from time to time, and I think what you're doing there has been good. So I certainly want to send a quick shout of appreciation to you and your team for that. Marcus, it is our intent to decide upon what vendor we're going to move forward with at our next board meeting on next week. There may, in fact, be some follow-up questions. I think we'll route that through the same path that we have been, routing those questions through Mac and his team, and then subsequently you guys can report, answer those questions back, and he can disseminate that information to the board. If there aren't any questions, any other questions from you guys, thank you again for your time, and you should look forward to hearing from us real soon.
I look forward to seeing y'all next Friday.
Any other remarks? I'm sorry.